Okay. All right. All right. I think we are live. Yes, we are live. And for both of you who are viewing right now on Amazon and all the tubes, we got lots of testing going on here. And I've got 48,628 things happening right now in front of me, and you probably don't care. But in case this is the first time you've seen me on your screen, where have you been all my lives? No, my name is Chris Stone. I'm at Castahead at castahead.net, and I help motivated entrepreneurs, maybe like you, start your live show and your podcast. And I'm excited because tonight I'm going solo live, helping you on Amazon, Twitter, YouTube, all of the tubes. And, talking about some new gear that I got in and maybe something that will help you in your journey as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, and as a live streamer. And I'm just going to kind of go through all of this stuff. I see some folks here live on Amazon. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm testing out some new software and some new hardware, and you guys get to be the guinea pigs tonight. So jump in, let me know where you're joining me from, what part of the world are you in? I'm testing out Ecamm live tonight. I've used Ecamm for quite a while, but Ecamm has lately been pulling in a lot of stuff. I've been involved in their beta program for quite some time, and they've done some Amazon stuff, and I'm excited to do that. I have a show on Amazon as well with my co-host and good buddy Jim Fuse, and it's called Dealcasters, and we go live and do a lot of videos and do a lot of stuff together. And so this show here is just me, and I'm excited to try this out. But Jim and I are speaking in April at an Ecamm live selling event, and so it's time for us to just kind of get into this thing and start talking about gear and start talking about all of this stuff and playing with these pieces of software. And right now I've got what I thought would be things on 3 screens, and I've got them on 1. So this is kind of the way it happens. I'm gonna be my guinea pig tonight, and let me know where you're chiming in from. So part of being an Amazon influencer is not just, showing up and going live and talking about products and doing that, which is what we're going to do tonight, but it's also about leveling up within their program, and that means you start as what's called a rising star when you first get in. And a few years ago, Jim and I started on this thing as Dealcasters as rising stars, and the first thing you got to do as a rising star is you got to go live for 90 minutes. Whew. And I don't know if I'm going to go 90 minutes tonight. I think what's going to happen is you will let me you'll dictate how this thing's going to go. And I don't expect, if you're watching and listening to me right now, I don't expect you to hang around for 90 minutes. Geez, God bless you if you hang around for 90 minutes and look at this guy. But I may go 90 minutes. I may go, 9 minutes. We're going to see. We're going to see how this thing's going to go. But what I love to do is I love to help people get through that junk in their head in terms of how, I can't get my podcast started. I really wanted to start a blog, and everybody's talking about Chat GPT, and I've been really wanting to, what kind of camera should I use? Oh, Chris, I really like how this looks, and you got headphones. Should I use headphones? Why should I use headphones on a podcast, and why do I get this echo that happens in my room and other people don't have it? And so this is why we do this on Amazon. This is why we do this on other places, on the other tubes, and We love to help people because really it's not, necessarily about like, hey, how can I make money in the creator economy? It certainly is nice that that is a thing you can do. You're not just throwing stuff over the fence and hoping it works for people. You can actually make a living doing this thing. But it is also about helping people do that and having a thumbprint on what they are doing in their future and hearing about, hey, I started my podcast because I watched a show that you did and you told me about this thing and this thing and this thing. And now I'm, on show 12 or on show, 24 or whatever it is. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm on Amazon. So if you are not on Amazon yet, please come on over, go to castahead.live. And if you go to castahead.live, if you're watching this on replay or live on YouTube or Twitter or any of the places that we're on besides Amazon, if you go to castahead.live, it'll take you right to Amazon. Follow me here on Cast Ahead, and we'll continue to do this kind of stuff and, kind of help you. If you've got any questions about any of the stuff we're talking about, I will do my best to answer those for you and sort of help you very specifically. I mean, it's like, listen, when you're a rising star, you're not on any product pages. So those of you that are here with me right now, I appreciate you even more so than you can imagine. So we're in a very small room right now. If you, if you think that there's thousands of people that are watching me right now, you're wrong. There are very few people. This is a very intimate thing that we're a part of right now. And so I'm happy to hear from you tonight and to answer any questions that you might have. So let's get into it. Let's get into some products. So I'm going to first, I know I have the Zoom H6 that's highlighted here in the carousel. And Jim Fuse, I see you chiming in here on the chat, and okay, there you are. And so I'm popping this. I'm going to see if this works. Here I am. I'm testing out. Boom. There we go. Hello, Chris Stone from Jim Fuse, and I can size this up. And so Jim and I, like I had mentioned before, Jim and I have a show on Amazon, and it is called Dealcasters. And we're going to be going live with our friend Doc Rock, who's also an Amazon influencer, a week from tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about brand new Apple accessories and stuff around all these Macs. And man, I was excited today. I got a delivery from Apple, and I got me an M2 Max, a MacBook Pro M2 Max with 64 gigs of RAM, and I do a lot of video. And so I'm super stoked about that. And Doc Rock is fantastic. He's the head of the Ecamm community. He's just like an Apple guru. And so I chimed in with him today and said, hey Doc, I got me a new MacBook Pro, dude. What's the best dock, not Doc Rock, but what's the best sort of dock and hub that I need to get for this? And lo and behold, it's the same dock, and here I am talking about a piece of product. I don't even have it in the carousel, and it's sticking behind there, and I can't even grab and show you, but it's the OWC Thunderbolt 4, which I probably should add. Jim, listen, not having you adding products to the carousel and doing this by myself, I know you can feel my pain, my friend, is doing this kind of thing by yourself. It's just like you need a team sometime doing this. But Jim, thank you for supporting tonight. Let me know, my friend, if you are seeing anything in here that seems a little weird, that seems a little wonky. As you can see, I've got this, I've got the chat. It was pretty easy to pull it up on Ecamm with the comments and reactions. Seems to work just fine. Just kind of sort of pulled in the URL from Amazon. Everything seems to work fine. Very sort of basic and easy for me to use. So hello, Jim Fuse. I'm Chris Stone. So thanks for chiming in, and certainly let me know if you see anything there. So let's talk about Jim Fuse's mic. Yes, what a segue, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Fuse, and Jim and I have a let's call it a relationship, shall we, with this company here. Which is Shure. And Shure is, okay, this is the SM7B, which I do not have highlighted in the carousel. Clearly, I'm like the worst Amazon influencer in the world. But no, here we go. This is the Shure SM7B. This is the microphone that Joe Rogan speaks into, that, throw a rock and hit a podcaster and they're going to have this mic in front of them. This is the Shure SM7B. Love, love, love this microphone. Makes me smile every time I hear my voice coming through this puppy right here. I love a lot of different microphones, okay? Is this my favorite? No. I have a lot of different microphones that I love. Is it one of my favorites? Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about this because we're going to be talking about a brand new product which many people use with this Shure SM7B, and it's called a Cloud Lifter. And it's a brand new Cloud Lifter called the Cloud Lifter X, which was actually released this week, which works with a lot of dynamic microphones like this, ribbon microphones, and tube microphones. And it will help with this particular microphone, which requires a lot more gain for you. So you can't just like grab this microphone, plug it in, and sound like Joe Rogan. You need a few other things, and it's a little complicated. So I'm here to help, anyone who wants to talk about like, oh God, I don't want a super complicated, super, $400 microphone. I'd rather, my budget is more like in the $75 range. I can talk to you about that. We can talk to you about getting a microphone that works in the space that you've got that, will help you get yourself on your way. You don't necessarily need a microphone like this. In fact, if you're just starting out, I don't think you should get a microphone like this. What I think you should get if you're just starting out is a microphone like this, which is, one of my favorite microphones as I'm flipping through all kinds of different applications until I get on this, which is the Samson Q2U. God, we've talked about this microphone now for, I don't know, two and a half, maybe years. And I'm going to flip this, and I'm getting a little bit of delay on this particular overhead, so I'm gonna turn this off and back on again. But this is the Samson Q2U, and one of the reasons why I love this microphone is you don't need anything else with it. It has a USB input in it, so you could basically take this microphone, purchase this microphone. Not only is it $69, but it is a great sounding microphone, and you can plug it directly into your computer with a USB, and your computer will recognize it. And as long as you do things like, you treat your room, which it doesn't cost you any money, and I can talk to you about that. But you want to be in a decent room. It comes with a pop filter, which I'll tell you what. If you don't have one of these, this is a pop filter. This is like, it's like a $1 or $2 or whatever. I think I have this in the carousel. And what this will do is when you say things like pizza and things like that, that doesn't push extra air into your microphone and pop the diaphragm and sounds like just total garbage, and it sends people for the yes, Jim. Samson Q2U for the win. This is really weird. It's like, oh, okay. Here we go. Samson Q2U for the win. See, I'm learning how this thing works. And the other thing is I'm hearing a little bit of the music that I had at the intro. So I'm going to hit pause. Somehow that's coming through on Bluetooth. So this is a pop filter. Okay. And this, the microphone that you see here, the Shure SM7B. This has got a pop filter on it as well. It also has some other stuff going on, okay, that this microphone doesn't have. But any microphone that you use for the most part is going to need this pop filter, and it basically rejects a lot of the wind that you're going to be getting and pushing in through it helps to do that. And so a microphone like this is dynamic, which means it's directional. So it doesn't pick up all kinds of stuff that's coming around the room. So there's another microphone that's very popular, kind of looks like R2-D2. And it is a very sensitive microphone, and a lot of people love this microphone. It's very, very, very popular, and it rhymes with Blue Yeti. And so that microphone is sensitive, but it is not necessarily a dynamic microphone. It's going to pick up lots of noises that are around. And so if you don't have a sound treated room, a condenser microphone is not what you want. Okay, so if you're in a studio and you have a very nice sound treated room, a condenser microphone is much better for you. This microphone here, the Shure SM7B, is a dynamic microphone, and it, many consider this to be the best, the ultimate sort of broadcast microphone. Some people just like the way a condenser microphone sounds with them, but it won't work if you've got a bunch of screens in front of you like I do. Like I have, monitors in front of me, and I've got, this desk in front of me, okay? It doesn't have, this is not sound treated. And so if I had a condenser microphone right now in front of me, you'd hear a lot of bright things, bouncing back into the microphone, which gives it that sort of echo sound. And so this is the microphone, the Samson Q2, that we always suggest for someone who is just starting out, that just wants to, sound a little bit better. Right now I have 3 clients that I have suggested this mic to. They bought it and they were like, thank you so much. I've had actually people compliment me on how I sound with this microphone. The other thing is, you'll notice I don't speak directly into the top of this microphone. I speak across it. And the same way with this. If I were speaking into this microphone, I would speak across it, because if you speak directly into it, you're going to get what's called plosives. And what plosives are is if you say pizza and those things, that you're going to get that extra air that's coming out, and it's going to go directly into your microphone, right? And so when you do that, it's terrible sounding. So prepare yourself. This is about to get terrible, right? You go. That's what happens when you say words like plosives and pizza and things like that. And so when you do that, that's just, you don't want that. So you want to speak across the top of your microphone and, prevent that. And this thing right here will help you this will help prevent that kind of thing. And so we do have a question from, Jim Fuse. He says, can you explain this mic is better than, say, a condenser mic? Well, I kind of just did that. So maybe this question came in before I started going on and on and on about, I can do that, Jim. You know how that is, where I'm like, I'm kind of talking and I'm not really looking at the chat. So a condenser mic is a mic that is much more sensitive. So if I had a condenser mic in this room, and I don't right now, what I should do? I'm going to do that for the next show. I'm going to get a condenser mic, and I'm going to be able to say, okay, here I am. I'm speaking into a dynamic mic in the very same room, and I'm going to switch, and you're going to hear a condenser mic with generally the sort of same settings. And when you hear that, you'll be able to hear the difference. I have a Blue Yeti microphone. It is a microphone that is a USB microphone. This is the other thing about Blue Yeti microphones, is they're not XLR. So this is a good conversation here, because I'm going to transition into Jim Fuse's microphone. Jim, who is in the chat, thank you, my friend, for coming in here. This is, if you have a little more of a budget, and you want to sound even more awesome than the how you would sound with a Shure a Samson Q2U, and you're like, okay, that's cool, Chris, but I got a little more money to spend, and I've been I'm a seasoned sort of podcaster, so let me I want to level up, but I don't want to spend $400 on a microphone. Okay, I have the microphone for you, my friends. This, in fact, is the microphone that the buttery smooth sounds of Jim Fuse uses. This is the Shure MV7X. And so you may have heard of the Shure MV7. And the Shure MV7 is a great microphone, fantastic microphone, in fact. And you can plug it, just like a Blue Yeti, you can plug it into your computer via USB. So you don't need like an interface, which allows you to plug a microphone from a traditional microphone output, which is called XLR. And this is just a microphone cable. And you would go into an interface for your computer. And so the MV7 has this, and it also has a USB. But, what a lot of people don't realize is the Shure MV7X actually sounds better than the Shure MV7, and it's cheaper. It is less expensive. Right now, the Shure MV7X XLR podcast microphone is $179 here on Amazon. And, oh, hey, have you ever seen what a Shure MV7 looks like without the pop filter? Oh, that's what it looks like. I bet you've never seen that before. Have you ever seen that? And, it looks, it kind of looks like a droid, maybe. Like maybe from like Star Wars, maybe from like Andor or something like that. Kind of, now you know why it looks better like that. But here's the thing: it has the same build essentially as the Shure SM7B in terms of like this. There's this yoke, so you don't need like what's called a shock mount, which keeps your microphone from shaking. And that creates vibration, which creates sound. So, the reason why you want a dynamic microphone that's got a shock mount, it's got all these things that's hanging on a boom arm, is because you, like right now, you're just hearing my voice. You're hearing me talk. You're not hearing anything else. And this is why you have a microphone like this, is because you don't want to hear vibrations. You don't want to hear any of those little idiosyncrasies of people's voices that are coming through on particular broadcasts, because you want to hear what someone has to say, what their message is, what they're wanting to communicate. So in any event, this is the Shure MV7X XLR podcast microphone, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, because listen, these are my opinions. And by the way, thank you to Shure for sending us this microphone. Still, my opinions are all my own. If I thought this was hot garbage, you'd hear me tell you that this is hot garbage. This, in my opinion, if you don't have this microphone, if I did not have this microphone in front of me, which is the Shure SM7B, which again, Shure sent this to me. Thank you very much for that. I would use this microphone, and this is the microphone that Jim Fuse uses. And so if that isn't reason enough, I don't know what you're doing. So Jim has another comment here. Hard to believe, but it sounds even better with a Cloudlifter CL1. So Jim, it's like you, Jim, it's like you, like you have a run of show in front of you. So great segue, Jim. Let's talk a little bit about what a Cloudlifter is, because when you talk about the Shure SM7B, I think what a lot of people have talked about is like, oh man, that mic is so quiet. Because if you purchase this microphone, this thing's slipping down a little bit. Technically, by the way, this is actually a piece of Velcro that's meant to, hold the cables. But I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to put this on my microphone and try to get that logo in there. I don't know. I think the logo's cool. Do you think the logo's cool? I think it's cool. So let me. By the way, you heard me speak as I moved away from the microphone. So that's a good demonstration of the directional and dynamic abilities of a microphone, right? So we'll talk on other shows about lavalier microphones, right? So you see these clip-on microphones that sometimes people have, or they have, there's shotgun microphones, like you see them on movie sets more often than not. But, podcasters sometimes will use them. They're directional and they'll shoot kind of down into an area. And so if the sound's coming into that area, the broadcast will pick it up. It's similar to this, except you don't have to have the mic in front of your face, right? And if it's a dynamic mic, the best sound you can get out of a dynamic mic is when you're right on top of it. And so if you have a shotgun microphone, it's basically going to shoot into an area and you're going to be able to, get the best sound out of that. And so, okay, so let me talk a little bit. I'm jumping all over the place. Jim's got questions in the chat. If anybody else has questions, and I see there's folks here on Amazon and the other tubes, please let me know if you've got any questions. Thank you very much for joining me. This is my first live by myself on Amazon. So show me the love, shower me with the stars and the likes. Jim and I have gone live on Amazon like a lot together. And right now, Jim, I'm appreciating you, my friend. So you have to go live by yourself, so you can appreciate me. But like, it's a great team with Jim and myself, and this is fun doing this. So we're going to talk here about the Cloudlifter. And so our friends at Cloud, listen, we're going to have on Dealcasters, we're going to have Roger Cloud on. And if there's something that you might not know about me, is I've had a 28-year history in the music industry. And, every once in a while, that Venn diagram of what I'm doing now with podcasting coincides with the music industry. And Roger Cloud has some amazing stories about, working with Pink Floyd and working with some of the biggest music artists in the world, and working with Cloud microphones. And, Cloud, the Cloudlifter, and Jim and I had a fantastic conversation with this guy. And I told Jim, I was like, man, I don't know if you guys have ever had like a Zoom conversation with someone and you're like, man, I wish I recorded that. That was basically like a podcast. And of course, we're going to have Roger on the show, and hopefully it's almost as good as that thing was. Let me, again, here I am, like going to the carousel. Let me go and highlight the Cloud, Cloudlifter CL1. Here we go. Jeez. I'm just not used to doing this, having Jim run the show, and now I'm having to run the show. But anyway, we're going to talk to Roger Cloud. And what is a Cloudlifter? Okay, why do you need a Cloudlifter? Okay, I'm going to tell you this. If you think you don't need a Cloudlifter, plug your microphone into a Cloudlifter and then tell me you don't need a Cloudlifter. That's what I tell people. I realize a CL1 is $149, right? But you plug any dynamic microphone into this thing, and it immediately makes it better. It just does. It just absolutely does. It makes a Shure SM58, which is the microphone that everyone uses on every stage. Like presidents use this microphone. Every singer on every stage uses a Shure SM58. You plug in a Cloudlifter CL1 into any dynamic microphone, so let me simplify it even more. The reason why it makes it sound better is it takes and adds 25 decibels, dBs, of clean gain to the microphone before it even comes into your interface, your computer, your PA system, into anything. So it's almost like a fuel injection, a caffeine boost for your microphone. And what a lot of people did, this was originally made for what's called ribbon microphones. And so these were microphones that were used on, in major studios. These are $4,000-$5,000 microphones, right? It's like way too expensive. Like if I were doing a podcast with a ribbon microphone, you'd be like, what are you even doing, right? Because these are microphones that require additional gain, that's what these were made for, right? And so, when this particular microphone, which is the Shure SM58 came out, Shure SM7B came out, there's a distance between where you're speaking into the microphone and where the actual diaphragm is, where the microphone is. And so it needed that additional gain to be able to do that. And so everybody's like, well, if you have a Shure SM7B, you need a cloud lifter, right? You need a CL1. And so everybody's like, yes, you got to do that. Well, now what's happening is a lot of these interfaces, the Rodecaster Pro 2, for instance, which is what I have this plugged into right now, is, requires or has, I should say, preamps that they say don't need any mic activators or don't need additional gain. Technically, that's true, right? So there's a thing in every single one of these preamps, which is, it's basically like noise. If it, and the only way to do it is to go and listen to these videos that we've done and other people have done, and you go, okay, let's listen to what it sounds like when you plug in this particular microphone directly into this interface and listen really quietly. Do you hear a little additional noise? You hear a little additional noise. That's what's the preamps that's inside of your interface, your Scarlett, your Rodecaster Pro, your Behringer, like anything you're plugging your microphone into your computer, you're requiring more preamp sound, therefore noise potential that's coming out of that. Now, I will say this, the Rodecaster Pro 2, fantastic preamps. Yes, they will give you the gain necessary to power this particular microphone and have it sound great. No doubt about it. But when I plug in the CL1, it sounds greater than if I didn't. And the difference is, about 25 dBs of gain. So that's what this does. And it's very simple. You just take your microphone, you plug it into one end, and you take the, it's this one. And then it comes out with this end, and you go into the interface, which goes into your computer. So it's just like one additional XLR cable that you'll need to do for this. And so this week, actually, we have another comment from Jim. Everyone that tried the ribbon mic at you know what, Jim? The one thing I was shocked. Jody Krangle, who is fantastic voiceover actor, based in Canada. We saw at Podfest, and I thought, boy, she's obviously has a sound treated room, voiceover actor, has been on hundreds and hundreds of commercials. And when you hear her voice, you'll be like, ooh, boy, her voice sounds like butter. Very, condenser microphone, and I thought, listen, you got to go over to the cloud booth, got to talk to Roger, and, you got to hear your voice through a ribbon microphone. And I'm thinking, hopefully Jody's going to have a relationship with Roger and, that'll take off. Actually, Jody was like, you know what? I don't like my voice through a ribbon microphone. And I was like, okay, hey, that's the way it goes, right? I mean, um, and I think it's just like, sometimes some of the stuff we talk about, like, hey, you need this, and hey, you need this, and hey, you need this. It's not for everyone. Depending on the room you're in, depending on the voice you have, depending on the particular show that you have, you may not necessarily need this mic. You may need a different type of mic. And so when we go live and we talk to people and we talk to, they're like, oh, well, I don't like these microphones or these headphones, and, they feel a certain way on my ear, and why do you have to have these? And why is this, it's like, it's not the one thing for everyone, and so we test out all kinds of stuff. And sometimes I feel like, a particular, you'll see me sometimes with the Heil PR30. Love the Heil PR37 microphone. These are all different microphones. And so one of the other things, now that we're talking about cloud, is this new Cloud Lifter X. And so this is just another example of, here we go. Is the Cloud Lifter X. And so, I was just speaking about the Cloud Lifter CL1, and had, kind of gone through that whole thing. And this Cloud Lifter X, okay, this is a whole different sort of thing. Now, it has the same sort of capabilities in terms of, adding gain to your microphone, your dynamic microphone, or your tube microphone, or your ribbon microphone. I would say more than likely, most everyone has a dynamic microphone. If they're talking, podcasting or live streaming, then there's a smaller subset of people that are using condenser microphones. Again, if you want to make sure that you're doing sound treatment in that sort of situation, you're going to hear a fly buzzing. You're going to hear your fans, your air conditioning, like you're going to hear all that kind of stuff with your condenser microphone. So you got to be really careful on that. You've got screens in front of you. It's glass. Your voice is bouncing off of all of these things. So you got to be really careful. You want to get more of a small dead room, especially with a condenser microphone. But the Cloud Lifter X uses what's called a transformer-based mic activator with this. So, what is a transformer? It's just basically like a different tonal character to your voice. So right now you're hearing me speaking to a Shure SM7B. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the Cloud Lifter X, and you're going to hear the difference between what I'm talking into right now, which is the CL1, and the Cloud Lifter X. How about that? We're going to do that because why not? I'm live on Amazon. There's 2 people here, and sure, why not? And of course, Jim Fuse, thank you for hanging out. If anyone else, which I see there are folks hanging out, if you want to ask me any questions about cloud or, balloons being shot down over Lake Erie. No, I won't talk about that, but I'm happy to have conversations about any of that stuff. So this is the Cloud CL1 that I'm talking into. And generally, if I were just plugging in my SM7B microphone into my Rodecaster Pro 2, which you can kind of see the edge of it here on the broadcast, I might be able to pull that a little bit closer to everyone. A little bit. You can kind of see that there. I'm not going to get too much closer than that. I might, who knows what I'm going to pull down over there. So basically, I would have to add, almost 57 decibels of gain for this SM7B from the Rodecaster Pro. So it's requiring more gain from the Rodecaster Pro in order for it to sound loud enough, basically. But because of that, the Rodecaster Pro preamps are generating more of that. And so there's a noise potential there. And so what the CL1 does is it says, okay, hey, I got you. Before we even get here, I'm gonna give you 25 decibels of gain. So your Rodecaster Pro, hey dude, you don't have to, let me give you half as much. Like, ease up, it's all good. And you don't have to worry about that. So it's like it's easing that up. So what the X does is it gives you even more than that, but it also gives you a different sort of tonal character to your voice. And there's no real way for me to explain it other than, it's I guess it's more full is really what I can say. So like these sort of, I don't know, these bigger sort of consoles where you go into recording studios like Neve and these major consoles, these are transformer based consoles. That's what's in here. It's made by Cinemag. Again, Cloud is a US based company out of Arizona. Fantastic company. What they do for the Native American community in Arizona is amazing, and I can't wait for Roger Cloud to come on to Dealcasters and talk about that. And so what this is going to do is it's going to give you more of a transistor-based sort of tonal character to this. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to plug this in. So hopefully you're not going to hear any pops or anything like that. I'm going to bring the volume down. So there's going to be a point here where you're going to hear like lower volume. Maybe I should bring in some music. How about that? How about we bring in a little music? Maybe I won't get, a strike from, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Let me just keep this clean so we don't get any strikes. How about that? YouTube and Amazon. We're going to keep this clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug my CL1 from my Shure SM7B, and I'm going to plug it into the Cloudlifter X, and I'm going to keep it on the max setting. So here's the other thing. Before I do this, I'm going to tell you this. This will help you attenuate the extra dBs that you get. Okay, so if you have it out, it will give you the max. So this will give you 35 to 36 dBs of extra gain here, and where you get like 25 out of the CL1, but you also get a different sort of thing. So if you're ASMR, right? So if you're someone that wants something very, I'm not going to do ASMR. I'm not going to freak anybody out right now. I'm not going to freak the 6 people that are watching right now. But if you're an ASMR, this almost becomes essential for you. This is going to give you an incredible amount of gain. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this. I'm done. I feel like I'm on one of those YouTube videos where they're like talking about what they're going to do. And you're like, would you just do it already? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring down my volume. I'm going to plug these things in, and you're going to be able to hear the difference. So here we go. I'm coming down on the volume, and you may hear a pop. So just prepare yourself. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Okay, I'm going to bring it down a little. Holy smokes, I got to bring it way down so I don't. This is incredible, the amount that I had to bring it down. Let me check. Let me bring. Okay, sorry. All right. See. All right, let me break it down a little bit more. Okay. All right, so I apologize if you got a little bit blown out there, but that's what happens. This is, I just plugged in something that just basically supercharged my voice. Let me bring it up a little bit more. All right. So now, and next time I do this, I'm going to have visibility here on my screen because I had to bring it down. Right now, my Rodecaster Pro, I only had to add 28 decibels of gain versus 59 decibels of gain, which I had to do without any Cloudlifter whatsoever. So that's, and now you're hearing the Cloudlifter X. This is the brand new Cloudlifter that was just released this week, which has a transformer-based, Cinemag transformer-based mic activator in it. Fantastic. Love this company. Just, you know, it's amazing the stuff that they have, and I can't wait to, like, they're going to be sending me a cloud. It's called a ZI, which I can plug my bass into as well, and I'm just absolutely stoked for that. And so in any event, Cloud is a fantastic company. We're going to be bringing Roger onto Dealcasters, and Jim and I had a great conversation with Roger, just fantastic conversation with Roger. And then we got to spend more time with him at Podfest in Orlando as well. And so Karen says it sounds more crisp and louder with the X. Yeah, definitely louder. I think, I hope it wasn't too loud at first, Karen. That I realized I was like, oh, geez. In fact, right now I'm going to bring it down even. I mean, you got to be careful with these sort of activators. Like sometimes you can just be way too loud. And then, so if you're on a show, if you're on a live stream, if you're on a podcast, and you've got, this is the thing I worry about too. If you've got all your sound just so amazing, and then it's louder than everyone else, and you show up on a show, it's like, if someone else is running the show, do you feel a little weird about it? Like, my audio sounds so tremendous, sort of, people might worry too much about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to keep it sort of commensurate with everything else. So the show is the best it can be. It's not like, oh gosh, I don't know what they were talking about, but that person's voice was so great and so loud. It's like no one, you just want to fit within the show, sort of thing. So it's like one of those things, good judgment is something you always got to think about, with that. And so, Karen says for her loudest, listen, if it's too loud, you're too old. So, Karen, stay young. Jim, sometimes, things are too loud for Jim, so, it's good. You guys are the yin and the yang, there. And, thanks for joining me there. So, that's the cloud stuff that I wanted to talk about. I definitely wanted to touch on the cloud stuff, and cloud is going to be, on our, it is gravitating. It makes you want to gravitating. Okay. That's the first time anyone has said gravitating. Does that mean you, oh, okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm gravitating. So, okay, let's transition if we can, because I know we had a number of things. Just so you know, the camera that I'm using that is above me, right here, that we've had at times, this is the Sony ZV-1. So I wanted to talk about that. And so, of course, Ecamm Live is the software that I'm using for this, and Jim and I will be using this often, I think, for our live streams. And the camera that I'm using right here, my main is the Sony A6100, and that's what she said. Of course, gravitating. That's what she said. Okay, so here's another thing. I mean, the whole show that we're talking about tonight is the live streaming tips and deals. And Jim and I at Dealcasters have talked with this company that not many people know about. And one of the biggest pain points in the business that we have for working with live streamers and podcasters is eye contact. And if you've been watching this stream, replay, or live, you're seeing me look at you in the eye. And every once in a while, I'll look here or I'll look here. And most of the time, when a live streamer or a podcaster is doing that, it's because they have monitors on either side of them, like the chat's over here, or this is over here, or like, hey, let me pull this up, and they're looking down here, and they're looking down over here. And generally, people don't understand that, right? They like, I'm explaining this to you, and so you can say, oh, maybe this is the first time you're hearing this. And generally, people don't understand. They're like, why, when I'm talking or when I'm watching this person talk on my screen, why are they looking down over here? Or why am I on a Zoom call, and instead of me like looking this person in the eye, they're looking down here, or they're looking up here, or they're looking up here, or they're looking down here. And it's a huge, I think, problem, especially if you're in a situation where, and here I am looking down, I'm looking down on my phone, right? Here's the perfect example. I'm looking down on my phone and clicking on something. So I'm going to talk to you about something that that I've been, I'm super excited about. And this is one of those things where, I wish I had come up with this idea. Because for a while there, I had noticed it. Like, I want to be able to look someone in the eye and say, here is something that I want you to hear from me. And you're either going to go, I don't like this guy, or I do like this guy and I understand what he's saying. And then that works for me. If you're gone, cool. If you're here, cool. And the item that I wish I had thought of is called the PlexiCam. And what this thing is I move Jim's phrase off of the screen. That's what she said has been on the screen for I don't know how long. But the PlexiCam is like, this is literally what it is. And I'm going to show you 3 different versions of this thing. And it's for 3 different types of cameras. And here's how this works. In order for you to keep eye contact with someone, you take your camera and you mount the camera onto this. And I'm going to give you this look right here. So you take the camera and you can mount it onto this. And this hook right here hooks on the top of your monitor, or it hooks on the top of your laptop. And what this clear screen allows you to still see like what's behind it. If it's like your Zoom call, or if it's the chat that's coming in on Twitch, or if it's any of that. And then you hook your camera and you screw your camera in, your webcam, or in this case, they also make them for DSLRs, for cameras like I have, like the A6100 or the Sony ZV-1. I can just take this and adjust this and screw the camera into the bottom of it, and then I just hang it on my monitor right here, and I can look through it. And you can't tell because the camera is right here in front of this, and you could still see the chat coming up behind it. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, how did I not think of this? This is a super brilliant way of doing it. And there's 3 different types of PlexiCams that you can use. And most people think of it, well, why do I need this? Okay. Well, the reason why you need this is there's a couple different reasons. Most of the time, if you're speaking to someone, I don't care if it's your grandmother, I don't care if it's your mother, I don't care if it's a presentation to your Toastmasters group, eye contact is key. Right now, you're looking into my eyes, okay? I'm looking at not into your eyes, but I know where your eyes are. And if I have something and I'm presenting and I'm showing it to you, you may have more trust in what I have to say. And if I can actually see someone like in a Zoom group and I'm identifying someone and I'm saying, oh, look, oh, I see so-and-so, there's a physical energy there that, an emotional energy there that you get from eye contact that you don't get if someone's going, oh, hey, how you doing? And they're looking up over there. So this is why these plexicams, in my opinion, are just, I don't want to say revolutionary. I mean, that feels like, oh my gosh, but I just feel like this is a completely underrated thing. And they're inexpensive. I've basically like told like all of my clients, like, this is what you need. So you're going to start to see, when Jim and I go live on Dealcasters, when I go live here on Cast Ahead, and I'm looking to the chat, you're not going to see me going, hey, I see Rome Wilkerson's in the chat. I see so-and-so's in the chat. No, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing this and I'm hitting a button, and you're still going to be seeing my eye contact because I'm moving towards a camera that's hanging on another monitor over the chat. And so that's another item that I think is sort of up and coming in the live streaming and content creator world. It also works very well for people who are, not necessarily content creators, but they're on Zoom a lot and they need to keep that eye contact and they need to do presentations for work, Microsoft Teams, all of those things. Keeping eye contact is absolutely key. I use for my main camera, I use a teleprompter. And so what I've got right now, and I don't have a camera behind me, but I will in future shows here, is I've got like a Glide Gear teleprompter. And so I have my camera that's behind an iPad that projects the show onto the screen. So I can see everything that is on a particular browser or whatever. It projects right in front of me. So if somebody pulls up something in the chat, I can see it, I can pull it up, and it's all in front of me. It's all about keeping things in front of you and you controlling sort of your visibility, knowing that, hey, this is where everyone's looking at you. For me, the PlexiCam is something that I'm super excited about for people. And again, you're able to use it for DSLR cameras. You're able to use it for webcams, and it's super versatile. So there we go. I appreciate everyone, and by everyone I mean both of you, Karen and Jim, for hanging out with me tonight on Amazon, and if so, definitely, this is my first solo Amazon show. God, I felt like I needed my partner Jim on this for sure. So, but Jim, I know you were there with me and in spirit and in chat. So thanks for that. And I guess I got to figure out how to end this thing. So here we go. I guess I can just end it here. So I appreciate everyone hanging out with me tonight. So if you would, and you've been hanging out, and I appreciate you doing that, by the way, hit that follow button. Follow me here on Cast Ahead. We're just sort of, continuing to build what we do on Dealcasters, continuing to do what I'm doing here on Cast Ahead, which will be somewhat different. I know Jim is also building what he's doing as well for Fusion Marketing and what he's doing there. So it's great. If the Venn diagram fits for all three, awesome. If it only fits for one or two, that's awesome too. We like to keep things somewhat somewhat different for both of us, and certainly what we do collectively at Dealcasters. But anyway, as always, I appreciate you for hanging out, and hopefully this live stream helped you. And we'll see you next time on the Cast Ahead Amazon Live channel. Is that what we call it? The Amazon Live channel? Yeah. Can you tell this is the first one? I can.